Q&R Code. If Riley and I weren't concerned about copying and copyright and being original, I do feel like starting the podcast episode every time with the, do you call it a riff, or what's this called, at the beginning of Baby One More Time by Britney Spears, dun-dun-dun. That would be an exciting intro.
Yes, it would be. Sure, you can say you call it a riff. For someone that loves music as much as I do, I know very little technically about it. And they're like, yeah, so on the bridge, I'm like 100%, yeah, the bridge. Yep.
Yeah, every time on the bridge. I just love that. That's such a captivating little rhythm right there, and that would also be good for when people do like the ba-dum. It would be good if it was banana.
Oh yeah.
Well, welcome back, Q&R Code, because we know it was a little different than usual, and by a little different I mean completely unexpected and earth-shattering, that we did not come out with an episode last week. I'm sure that's how you all felt. I'm sure, gosh, I hate to think of, the pit in your stomachs that may have arisen, or...
I know, yeah, that Tuesday morning, wiping the little sleepy seeds out of your eyes, stretch and brush your teeth, open your podcast app. What is happening?
Pull down to refresh, nothing changes. You check YouTube, not there either. You text all your best friends who listen to it every Tuesday morning as well and are like, hello, question mark, what do you think is happening? And then you see our Instagram and you're like,
the twins?
And then on Instagram, you're like, okay, literally what happened? Like, it must be a huge deal because they've gone almost 3 years never having missed a week once. And what is happening? So we just want to acknowledge that might be how you felt, and we're here for you, and we're here to explain ourselves and own up to this sudden change.
Yeah, hopefully that was only the true story for our listener Dad. We did let him know that this was happening, and he was not like, oh my gosh, totally understandable, girls. He was like, what the F? I am not okay with this. But Quinn and I have, as you know, it means a lot to us to put the best quality podcast out and to be consistent, and we have just entered a chapter in our lives where that's going to be the most possible by doing every other week sort of structure. So now you can expect the podcast the first and third Tuesdays of the month. Still gonna be the podcast you know and love. That's just gonna give us more of an opportunity, to have a little bit of life in between, for more to update you on, to consider. We're hoping to get some pretty awesome guests coming on that we'll be able to coordinate that. And Quinn has some big goals. As you know, right now she is working towards an extreme adventure, and that's just putting her on the road more, busier weeks and weekends, even though they were already busy to begin with. And my life is also changing, which we will get into more in the podcast. And we just wanted to make sure we were still putting out the podcast consistently, but not doing it just to make it happen every week, because we want to feel really proud of and good about what we are putting onto the internet for all eternity. So that's a little bit of the explanation there. I think you guys will understand that. We're feeling bittersweet about it too, because we're really proud of ourselves for doing a weekly podcast for a while, even having a little more frequency than that. And
which was crazy. Unless this was our full-time jobs. There are some people that do more than one episode a week, and it's their full-time job, pretty much. But
for us, it's not a job at all.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it, too, is we want to continue to maintain the honest energy around it of, like, yes, I am stoked to be doing this. We are stoked to be doing this, and not it feeling like, oh, goodness, a thing added to the list of to-dos. Clearly, it becomes a to-do because it's a commitment we have, but we want it to maintain the energy of honest excitement and passion and enjoying this because we get the privilege to make this because we enjoy it and want to and don't need to have it be, it's not at all intended in our lives to be a stressor, and we want to make sure we're maintaining that integrity for ourselves.
100%, and we are looking forward to having some people on the pod, and it's nice to have a little bit of buffer time when you're coordinating with others and just continue to talk about things we're passionate about, animal and land stewardship. Yeah, this is a good time to restate some of the the motivations behind it. As you know, Quinn and I started this podcast long distance twinship, so that's another thing. Having a weekly meeting and catch up was very necessary for us, and luckily now we get to see each other much more frequently. And you've heard our episodes evolve as we've figured out more of what we directly want the podcast to be about, and it just feels like a natural fit to continue talking about animal and land stewardship. Our favorite things are caring for the animals and land and people we're surrounded by. We endorse Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer on this podcast. We endorse lifelong learning and just having a passion for curiosity, the world around you, leaning into radical self-ownership. Why did I just forget the term, Quinn? Extreme ownership. And we will continue down that road together.
Yeah. I think it's been so fun to get to let the podcast evolve because we didn't have the pressure of this has to be this one thing. Like, clearly our twinship is the base of it all, and we have, oh boy, lots of layers there, and nothing is off limits between Riley and I. So it has been really nice having these almost 3 years of sorting through on the pod what we want to focus on, and I think just the big pillars in our life are goal setting, appreciating the land and animals, lifelong learning, and just deep gratitude. So that's the stuff we are passionate about talking about, and I am also excited about our guests. We're going to have some very fun guests on, and people that may or may not have been mentioned and name dropped before, so that's really exciting, and we will update you guys about that. But for now, we have a very exciting update for Riley. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, my bad, we dropped an episode about my new herd member, which, quick update, no name yet. The name has not been secured. We are working on that. There are a couple of top contenders that we're working on seeing if one sticks, but she's still no name girly. And now Riley has a little herd introduction to do.
Yay! Without further ado, I've never gotten to do a herd member announcement on the podcast because, well, I guess I did with my chickens back in
Mm-hmm.
Virginia. I had gotten Roger when this podcast began, and now, drum roll please, the Liliestrom Gaston household has goats. They
Yeah.
are the sweetest alpine goats ever. Their names are Sam and Tiptoe. It's a boy, Sam, and a girl, Tiptoe. And they have been with a family for a long time that loved them very much and treated them so well, but are ready to move on from having as many animals. They,
A family friend's family, so we know
yes,
them well.
yes, friend of the pod, Quinn, introduced me to her years ago, and I'm so grateful that she trusted us to take on these animals. As you know, hearing Quinn speak about her animals, and maybe you're someone that has pets in your life, they truly do become a part of your family, and it can be a very tough decision to rehome. Oftentimes, you are trying to take an animal through the end of their life, but when you're someone that has lots of different animals and types of animals, that can just keep going and going in perpetuity. And I completely understand and respect her decision to take a step back to focus on some of the things that she hasn't gotten to do because of caring for all of these beings and taking some time for herself to get to travel, explore, have a little bit more flexibility and free time on her hands. And so they're now going to live with us. Let me tell you a little bit about these goats. Alpine
Yes.
goats are bred for packing. So, like Quinn is working on packing with her equine, going into the backcountry using pack saddles, they carry gear, food, etc. These goats do the same thing. So I did get to buy the cutest little pack saddles off of her for these two goats. They are adorable little sawbucks, and they've taken them camping and backpacking a bunch of times. I've never gone goat packing before, so that's going to be a new adventure for us. But these goats are a little bit different than Quinn's goats, Alvin and formerly Teddy, sweet boy. They have the conformation of a meat goat, so they are a lot more stout, have more of that sort of build, and
My goats.
yes,
My goats are Riley's
Quinn's
now
goats.
are tall and lanky and big and adorable and have beards and the cutest little
Yes.
ears, but their ears are more stiff, like stand, whereas my goat's ears laid down on the side of their face, which both are adorable.
Yes. There are so many different types of goats and so many different breed like hybrids. People will breed different goats together to have a little bit of the traits of either. These goats are pure alpine goats. So that's the person that she got them from breeds them specifically as packing goats. And now they're older. They're 10. So depending goats goats lifespans can vary a lot just like anyone, but likely around 13 is about the average age you can expect these guys to live. So they're on the older end, but they're still very healthy and very energetic and can continue to do adventures, maybe a little less weight than they used to be able to carry, but they're sturdy and they are just the sweetest, most cuddly guys I have ever met. They are truly Velcro goats. If you go out into the pasture, they are right up on my leg and want scratches. And when you sit down, like a hound dog, they will just put their head in your lap for love and scratches. And it's the best because that's exactly what I want to do. So we are spending lots of quality time together, cuddling,
Cute.
getting used to the property. The transition's going really well. We didn't know if they were going to be pretty nervous and tentative coming to a new home, new people and environment. And their previous owner said that just from the day dropping them off, they were a lot more confident than she expected. They still, for the first several days, were, if we were out there, they would come out and be in their pasture. Otherwise, they were kind of choosing to stay in their shelter. It just feels safe and cozy to have that kind of protection. But a few days after they got dropped off, I saw Tiptoe was the first brave one to go out on her own, start grazing in the pasture, and now they're both doing that. And it's awesome because they're feeling just more safe and comfortable to be able to be out there on their own, but they do love company. So I'm going out to visit them quite a bit, and it always breaks my heart when I leave because they start doing their little baws calling after you. They're like, don't go, don't go. And I'm like, don't do this to me. I can't. I can't take it.
Cute. I love little animal noises. I love goat noises. I love that every morning when I go say hi to Alvin, I almost always wake him up from still napping and sleeping, and he has the teeniest little sweet tiny little snore. And then when I give him rubs in the right places, he does little tiny sighs like it's
Aww.
so cute. And sometimes I feel like maybe you could capture it and hear it on video, but it's usually a thing that I'm like, I just get the honor of getting to hear this myself. I think goats are they're so cute and they have such fun personalities. And I know clearly some people are raising crazy horrible goats, and I'm not saying that couldn't be me. Who knows the situation might end up with. But we have lucked out on having really good, sweet goats that I'm like, so often people bring up to me the goat stereotype of such troublemakers and everything. I'm like, not my goats. They are
Yeah.
chillers, and same with Riley's now. So that's a very good and exciting thing. And it's nice that they have such lovely demeanors that you want to be around, because there is such thing as bringing on a new animal and being like, yeah, I love you because you're an animal, but you are not all that great in terms of your disposition, and I don't like you as much, you know?
Yeah, it's so interesting just the different reputations animals get because everyone what that didn't have goats prior to us getting these guys was like, "Oh my gosh, goats, are really tricky, yada yada yada. They're going to definitely try to escape. They're really pushy." Like people just had all sorts of things to say, and I knew that we wanted to do this, and yeah, part of having animals is adapting and fencing and figuring out what the specific animal needs. These guys have not had any desire to escape. They're, older and domesticated. They're like, we know
Mm-hmm.
where we're supposed to be and we have everything we need. They have a lot of space to play. And it's cute. Sometimes they will be running around out there. Um, Tiptoe especially loves grazing on the morning glory flowers. It's so
Oh,
funny when we're
yes.
walking around in the morning because they, open in the morning and then are closed for more of the day. But when they're open, and leaving the foliage around to just flower, 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 flower. She
Oh, Alvin
loves
rips
them.
it off and lets the vine with the leaves hang out of his mouth and then just slowly works them all the way into his mouth and likes them quite a bit.
Yummy. They are really sweet guys, and Roger is adapting to the goats well. He, at first, we take it slow. He got to see them from a distance, wasn't just approaching the fence. Then we brought them closer, did it with Brayden and I together, so he can get used to the fact that even if one of us is in with the goats, that doesn't mean that Roger gets access to them and we're allowed to handle and touch the goats and not have it be a problem for him. And he is doing a really good job getting used to them. It is funny because the goats are very interested in him, and now we're to the point where Roger can be like right up on the fence and they're on the other side of the fence. And they let Roger like smell their faces and smell their butts and figure them out. They're really good about it. But then Roger is kind of like, okay, I'm not so sure about you guys, and will start to walk away. And especially my goat Sam is so interested in Roger, so then he starts following Roger. So then Roger starts running and picking up speed, and Sam starts running after him. Roger's like, oh my goodness, don't chase me, little goat. But he's doing a good job with them, and I
That's
think
good for him.
they'll be fast friends. We are hoping that pretty soon Roger can be on the inside with them and enjoy it, because the space that's fully fenced off for the goats is a great space for Roger to get to explore too. But we're not taking things too fast, because the last thing that we need is a dog chasing our stock around and thinking that's okay, and drawing clear lines that no one in the herd is allowed to be chased by anyone else unless it's with each other's
Unless
consent.
unless it's the goat chasing the dog and then it's fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, let me revise that, because the goats are allowed to chase the dog as far as I'm concerned. The
Yeah,
predators
they're
are
not
not
gonna
allowed to
kill
chase
him.
the prey.
Exactly. Yep. Well, that's so exciting, and I'm happy for you guys. They have been ready for goats for a long time. Brayden is Mr. Goat. He loves goats. He loves to read up on goats, and I know that you guys are hoping to expand your operation long term into something a little bit bigger, maybe dairy involved, but I think this is a great place to start, especially with Brayden being so balls to the walls in his new doctorism. Um he has lots going on, so that'll be a nice way to have them in your life and not have it feel like as humongous of a undertaking, and you guys just get to have new four-legged babies. This is your second and third four-legged animals you've ever owned. So that is really exciting.
Yes, we're so happy. It's also a very lucky situation to have had them come from previous owners that were so dedicated to them, and they are so people oriented and friendly and approachable, because when we do decide to add more goats to the herd, they will do a great job of leading by example to make
Mm-hmm.
the other goats motivated to be around us and be confident and brave with people and have really great role models, because these are really good guys. Also, a funny thing is that goats have the reputation of they will just eat anything. Goats will for sure eat like their browsers. They eat different things than say an equine would, but they are hilarious about their food, and we were warned that they are hay wasters, and that is true. They love to take a mouthful of hay, spit it out, take another one, and be like, okay, I like this one. And then they'll spit some out, and they have spreads of hay all over the floor. And as soon as it's on the ground, they are not interested in it anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
this weekend we have a project of making the hay a little harder to get to, so they won't waste as much of it, hopefully, but they this is all just animal stuff that we're excited about. We're excited to put up their feeder to figure out what's going to be a good system with these guys and just continue to learn and spend time around them. It's been so nice. Brayden looks forward to it so much, coming home from the hospital to go out and see the goats, and they're it's even better than I thought it was going to be. So we're really happy. We can't wait to go goat camping at some point. We hope to do a whole herd trip and go, Quinn's gone horse camping with her guys. So if we could
And
get
with
them
our
all,
goat.
and with your goat. I said your guys, all your guys.
You said
So,
gone horse camping.
oh yeah, I guess horse and goat camping. Bring them. We definitely will have to figure out a packing trip with these guys, but for right now, we might just do a little pack training around the property because we don't have as many free weekends to just go on a trip as one what might like, but we can certainly get used to it. We can learn, and they can let us be clunky beginners figuring out how to pack with them, but they're really awesome.
Yeah, they'll be good and forgiving teachers, I'm sure. That's such an exciting update, and I cannot wait to snuggle and kiss them on their nose. And animal updates for me, I mean things are going generally very well. I am really excited about the uh purchase that I just made of what is called the master class. So this is another Ty Evans thing. My my man is what I was gonna say, which sounds crazy. Ty,
Perhaps
respectfully.
mentor.
um, he is our guy. He is who we go to for all of our clinics, and not to say we wouldn't go to other mulemanship, horsemanship clinics, but his method, and it's kind of even funny to say because he has taken his education from his mentors, and it's not that he's reinvented the wheel. He just, I think, is a very inspiring person and a proficient mentor. He cares so much to learn, and he's so curious and motivated and constantly in a growth and accountability mindset, and just organizes his teachings in a way that is very palatable and exciting for me and just has clicked for us and our equines. So I am really stoked because I took the deep dive of joining his master class, which is basically a program, a course that could take years. It has all of the levels of the progressions from for some people this might mean nothing, but basically making a bridle horse or a bridle mule. So starting them in the snaffle bit all the way through the bridle, and so that is a multiple years long progression, and basically it has all the information that he could think of compiling in an organized way to help someone create a bridle animal. So it's going to be something that I am referring to for years and years, and he has such a great culture around it, and it is a substantial investment, and I feel so aligned and excited, and I've been wanting to join it for a year and was able to just make the leap. So I'm starting on the master class, and that feels fun. This is like a part 2 of me talking about the little like equine school that I've been putting myself through. I'm going through like horse girl, mule girl school, and clearly can't stop, won't stop with that stuff. And this just came at what I felt like was such the right time with the goals I'm working toward to have that huge pile of information to refer back to when I feel a little stuck or lost or, needing a bit more help.
Yeah, that is such an exciting step, and I think is going to just continue to level up what you guys are working on. Obviously, you're doing this with all of your equine, but it's also great timing with little mare coming into your life because you'll, you know, no matter if you get a horse that somebody says they're already way down to this stage, part of what we think is good horsemanship, mulemanship is you have to earn that relationship with the animal yourself. You don't get to just like take it from someone else and assume anything that they've done with them you can do with them. It, of course, helps if they have already a solid foundation. But going back to the beginning, starting the foundations with them, you get to work on the relationship while you kind of earn the stripes of all the tools in your toolbox together. And I'm really excited for you with that step because not only does it just provide some structure and a lot of information, it also gives you access to a peer group of people that are equally as invested as you are, so much so that they invested in doing the masterclass too. And when we were at the last clinic and got to have a Q&A with the masterclass participants, it was really clear that people do lean on each other and ask questions if you're feeling like a little stuck or unsure. It's just great to be able to turn to people that have a shared methodology that they're
Mm-hmm.
working on instead of, it's always good to get a different perspective, but sometimes asking a question of someone just randomly in the horse world is a little difficult if their technique is a little more cowboy than what you're doing, perhaps.
Yeah, or worse so, just uninformed.
Yeah.
Um, so that is the thing I'm really excited about and working on, and I have a few horse adventures coming up right quick. They're gonna come really quick. So we are at this exciting time where we are going to be making some big steps for me personally that I will have a ton of growth and for my equine. So look forward to hearing about that stuff because we will share in future episodes about some pack trips that I'm going to be going on and another clinic. I have another clinic at the end of this month, so I'm stoked about it. And I would just like to leave this episode on a note of encouraging you all to dive a little bit deeper into something that you've been wanting to do. I shared a quote with my family earlier this week in the group chat, and I don't have an I don't have it in front of me, but basically the gist of it. Riley, are you pulling it up?
Yes. Shall I read it aloud?
Yeah, read it to the class.
Okay. If there was ever a time to dare to make a difference, to embark on something worth doing, it is now. It's an unattributed quote, so we don't know who said it.
I'm like, me, they said unknown. I said that. I just feel so motivated. I don't have stuff all over my fridge, but I do have one spot that has a couple of things on the side of my fridge, and that is one of the things that hangs there because there are times where you can get, if you would say, lost in the sauce of life and
I
just
think
a little,
Aristotle said that.
yeah, and just a little, falling out of center and going through maybe a little bit mindlessly, and fair enough. We continue to grow and try to be our most centered and well-rounded versions of ourselves. That is just such a powerful reminder that makes me emotional that the time is now. There's just no reason, and I have had this in my life where I have put excuses out there of why now was not the time and it couldn't happen. And you can always make a step toward a goal. Like, we have so much more power than sometimes we give ourselves credit for. And I think it's really important who you surround yourself by and what you take in. I love so many people. I think people are amazing. And I also think there's a bit of this overwhelm and negativity that's happening in our culture of just kind of like, screw it, or this stuff doesn't matter, or I don't really, no one wants to work these days. So I am being just really mindful of the surroundings I'm in, and more so than, yes, I do. I perchance limit my social interactions because that's the kind of girl I am. I feel like as much social fulfillment as I need typically takes place at my job, and then I try to fit in friends outside of my job here and there while I can. But I would say being mindful of who you're surrounded by in terms of limiting the maybe negativity if there are people like that in your life, but even more so, I'm just having the focus of how can I be in the circles I want to be in as much as possible and make myself be surrounded by like-mindedness, and even through what I'm reading and what I'm listening to, and the conversations I have, and I'm just being more mindful of the thoughts I have and the things I speak out loud. And I'm thinking, is that actually what I want myself to believe, or what I want others to believe about the world or myself? So the time is now. You can always make a step toward a big goal and your dream life. And I just want us all, like, if I could grant everyone in the world to feel like they are satisfied with their life as it stands, and pleased and excited and like ready for more, but full of gratitude, I would endow that, because I think it's just really important. Even if we feel like there are things we're striving for, that's great. And it's great to have the combination of wanting more while being really grateful and content with what you have today.
I love that. I feel that way with my goats. That was something we were looking forward to for a long time, and now we get to live it, and we just feel so grateful. But not only grateful, but like now the learning really gets to begin. We've been reading, we've been working towards it and talking to people, getting information, but when you're doing something hands-on, that is just so invaluable to actual understanding and learning.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really happy for that. I'm happy for you, Quinn, and thank you guys so much for continuing to support and listen to our podcast. If waiting for it on the first and third Tuesday of the month, we have a big back catalog you can always revisit. And if there are particular topics you would like to hear covered that seem to fit our vibe, if there are guests you would love us to try to get for an interview, we're all ears. So let us know. You can always
Dad's
follow
like
us.
Billie Eilish.
Yeah. Which
Dad has been asking for Billie Eilish on the pod for a long time now.
If anyone has a plug for that, we would love to have her. I'm like super open to that, but
Maybe our
not.
close personal friend Casey Musgraves will make time for an episode. You know, I know she's on tour, but who knows? Maybe when she comes and we see her in Denver, maybe she'll want to come over, record
meet
an
the
ep,
animals.
hang,
I
go
think
for
she
a ride.
love the herd and feels like a good fit for us. So
stay tuned.
We'll be in touch.
All right, talk to you in 2 Tuesdays. Goodbye.
Bye.